With the Trump administration's cost-cutting team DOGE, or the Department of Government Efficiency, sweeping through federal agencies, we thought we'd suggest for the team at DOGE to visit our friends at ATF. Today we're going to go over some of the reasons that DOGE could stand to visit ATF, saving the US taxpayers money and hopefully gutting ATF in the process. Hey guys, I'm Tiffany and you're watching One in the Chamber, the show that helps you become a better gun rights activist. But before we get into this video, I just want to take a second to let you know about GOA's annual convention goals. The Gun Owners Advocacy and Leadership Summit is set to be held August 9th through 10th of this year in Knoxville, Tennessee. Come out and visit with some of your favorite manufacturers, participate in activism training, and hear from the top voices in the Second Amendment community. The best part, it's free for GOA members. Sign up today using the link in the description. Okay, now back to the video. So Trump and Elon Musk's DOGE is ripping through executive agencies faster than the media can keep up. With most recently, the IRS in the sights, we thought that we'd make some suggestions for when DOGE finally decides to show up at the gun owner's favorite bureau. Of course, I'm talking about the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. And while the ATF's budget is but a tenth of other agencies, like the FBI, it's full of the same waste and corruption that has taken hold at the rest of these executive agencies. Right off the bat, we can point to a recent scandal at ATF regarding taxpayer money. In 2023, ATF was caught intentionally overstating the duties of dozens of employees, labeling them as law enforcement agents so that the agency could pay them more money. The result? It cost the taxpayers tens of millions of dollars. We know all this thanks to whistleblowers working with the Office of Special Counsel. The OSC sent a letter to President Biden on May 2nd, 2023 about the illegal overpayments. In total, there were about 108 employees at ATF that the Office of Personnel Management found to be receiving law enforcement pay and enhanced retirement benefits. And that might only be the tip of the iceberg. In their comments, the ATF whistleblowers expressed their views that the report did not adequately capture the extent of ATF's illegal practices or the full impact of the harm. In the private sector, when people lie about their title and conspire to give themselves more money, it typically results in firing. So we're not sure what, if any, the consequences to individuals were. Even the Office of Special Counsel seemed iffy on what was going to happen. To quote directly from the report, progress toward full resolution has been slow, which may be attributable to the long-standing nature of the problems and the entrenched culture in reinforcing ATF's practices. Sounds like the agency could benefit from an audit from DOGE to uproot this so-called entrenched agency culture of stealing from the US taxpayer. It's likely that DOGE won't need to look too far into ATF to find incredible waste. In previous years, ATF agents lost track of $1.5 million worth of firearms to cartels along the southern border. And more recently, ATF lost thousands of its own firearms marked for destruction to theft. The Justice Department Office of the Inspector General even made a nice video about ATF's incompetence.
Hello, I'm Michael Horowitz, Inspector General for the U.S. Department of Justice. Today, my office released a report on the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, or ATF's firearms disposal practices. In August 2019, a former contract security guard was sentenced to 14 years in prison for stealing thousands of firearms, firearm parts, and ammunition from the ATF's firearm destruction facility, following a joint OIG, ATF, and DHS OIG investigation. Our audit found that ATF staff at the destruction facility didn't follow security protocols that were in place to mitigate the risk of firearms being lost or stolen, including propping open doors into secure areas, allowing visitors to enter through doorways other than the main entrance and drive their cars into the facility to unload firearms, and permitting unauthorized individuals to access vault storage spaces. Specifically, we found a lack of controls over firearms stored in temporary vaults, instances of employees handling firearms without a clear need to do so, and a lack of controls over keys used to unlock shipping cases containing firearms slated for disposal. Finally, we found significant issues with the surveillance camera coverage at the facility. We found that one camera wasn't functioning, and that the low resolution of some of the other cameras didn't allow the viewer to identify individuals or discern activities within secure areas of the facility. Additionally, we identified blind spots in coverage both inside and outside the facility.
On top of that, ATF agents have lost track of $162 million worth of cigarettes, and even their agents own department-issued firearms. And of course, this goes without saying, these are just the scandals that we know about. But if DOGE wanted to do some real cost-cutting, they should look no further than ATF's illegal registry. If you're a frequent viewer of this channel, you've heard us talk quite a bit about this. But for those of you who are new, I'll break it down. ATF, in violation of federal law, operates and maintains a searchable database of guns and gun owners, also known as a registry. Legislation passed in 1986, known as FOPA, or the Firearm Owners Protection Act, explicitly prohibits the U.S. government from maintaining any sort of registry of firearms whatsoever. The ATF claims that because they pay Adobe Acrobat specifically to disable the search function, this means that they can maintain this registry. The fact is, just because Acrobat isn't searchable doesn't mean that ATF cannot search it. And recent evidence points to ATF beginning to incorporate facial recognition technology into this registry as well. Long story short, it's bad news. And it's a massive waste of taxpayer money. In 2019, a documentary was published by The Atlantic highlighting the ATF's illegal registry and their digitizing process for out-of-business records.
We've got to keep each one of these imaging machines going about 16 hours a day. As the records get run through those imagers, we load that into our system, and the paper records will be destroyed. Otherwise, we'd need a bigger building, right?
That's right. Those machines run 16 hours a day, and there's a ton of staff making sure that if you own a firearm, you're going into a government database. DOGE should immediately shutter this massive infringement on the Second Amendment rights of Americans and save the taxpayers' money. So, DOGE, we hope to see you at ATF soon, and if you need any ideas on what else to cut, feel free to reach out. Anyways, that's it for today, guys. I'll see you next time.